All right, so one of the biggest frustrations I constantly hear from med spa owners, at least here in the US and in Canada, is that they're getting leads, but for the most part, those leads don't ever really become patients. And for example, they ghost, they ask a whole bunch of questions, they just price shop, or on top of that, when they do show up, they just never move forward with any treatment plan whatsoever, regardless of the lead source, regardless of where they came from or where they found. Most people blame Facebook, they blame their marketing agency, or on top of that, they just again blame the lead source. But what if I told you the real problem isn't that the leads are bad? And in this video, I'm going to explain why the education gap is so crucial, at least here, especially here in 2026. Okay, currently it's August 2026. It's getting super saturated. People are becoming more sophisticated. And because of so much competition, you need a way to stand out as a med spa owner, at least here in the US. If you ever run ad before, you've probably experienced at least one of these things. Leads stop replying after opting in. They ask about price before anything else. They don't show up. They start ghosting. Or on top of that, if you ask me, one of the worst things is all they ever wanted was the discounted offer that you had on your ad. More leads do not always mean more patients. Most agencies are obsessed, I mean obsessed with getting more leads in lead volume and lower cost per lead, bigger numbers as a whole, right? But at the end of, if you ask me, at the end of the day, this leads don't pay the bills. Okay, patients do. If your consultations are converting, doubling your lead volume, honestly, if you ask me, just literally just doubles your problems, right? So what's actually separating the leads that buy from the ones that don't? And again, good leads for just educated patients is all that I can think of. I don't actually think there are good leads and bad leads. I think there are educated patients and miseducated patients or uneducated patients as a whole. One understands the treatment, the process, the investment, and what to expect. The other is still trying to figure everything out from scratch. And if you ask me, that's a huge difference. When it comes to Google, right? Have you ever noticed that Google leads usually feel better than Facebook or Meta ads? So that includes Instagram, of course. Most clinic owners, for the most part, I've spoken to, have felt this way, at least in some part of their journey, right? Those patients have simply spent much more time researching. They've already, let's say, read reviews online, whether it's Trustpilot, Google, whatever, Facebook, compared providers, looked at before and after pictures on websites. In most marketing, honestly, for the most part, only focuses on this last step, if there's a consultation in book. For example, right, let's meet Laura here, right? I know she doesn't look 44, but let's imagine she's 44. Um, she looks 20, right? But again, I digress. The point is, let's imagine she's 44. She starts noticing some, let's say, skin laxity on her jawline, right? So she probably isn't looking for Morpheus 8 or RF microneedling in general, right? She simply just wants to look younger and better. At first, she tries, let's say, skincare. Then she hops on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, does her own research, hops on Google, maybe ChatGPT, Reddit, right? And then finally, she starts comparing her options, right? She looks on Google, sees her nearest practices, sees all the reviews. And only after all that does she finally book a consultation. Patients are learning somewhere. If it isn't from your practice or from a referral of any sort, it's definitely going to be from Google, ChatGPT, Reddit, TikTok, Facebook groups, influencers online, especially on Instagram and TikTok, or again, your competition, right? Your competitors. The education is happening regardless, whether you like it or not, right? So the question isn't whether patients will learn, it's where and how will they learn this information. This right here is the gap. Because if you want to stand out, you need to be the authority in your local area. By the time your front desk calls any lead, regardless of where it came from, regardless of the source, right? That person already has opinions about your treatment, maybe even your pricing, your competition, and whether or not they think it'll work for them. The consultation didn't start when they walked through your doors for the most part. It started weeks ago, sometimes even months ago, right? Because some people, again, they take their time. For the most part, aesthetics isn't a necessity. It isn't. It's all very optional. Most clinics are waiting for educated patients to appear. They're waiting for people to just be naturally sophisticated and want to go with you and you only. What if you stopped waiting? What if you started helping create them instead? Started creating the patients, creating them, so then they can naturally choose you rather than your competition. If you ask me, that literally changes everything. Goal isn't just generating leads anymore. You want to help create educated buyers. It's helping people become 10 times more confident with everything, with your clinic, with your service. Every piece of education moves someone one step closer to becoming an ideal patient. If you ask me, everyone has questions, right? Everyone has questions. So you want to answer those questions before any of the competition does. Period. And by for you, I mean for the patient. So it might as well just be you, your practice, your clinic in your local area. So, for example, right? Think of think about the conversation your front desk has every single day, right? Patients ask the same questions over and over again when they call. The same questions, pricing, all those things, right? That's actually a good thing. All those things, right? That's actually a good thing because those questions tell you exactly what content you should be creating. And honestly, I know we have Google here, but ChatGPT and AI LLMs, for the most part, are what most people are using nowadays. They search things like Morpheus A. Does it actually work? Does cool sculpting work before and after? Like testimonials, anyone? And if you ask me, Google isn't even the only place, right? The first thing I think of is Reddit. The first place I think of when it comes to before and after, or what are your thoughts on this and that, is Reddit. But regardless, a whole bunch of opinions from complete strangers across the world, right? And advice that may or may not even be accurate or true, regardless of what treatment plan it was, right? And by the time they speak to your clinic, they've already built a belief about your treatment. And again, the last thing you want is for it to be a negative opinion, especially if it's not a true one, especially if it's not a true. All because someone in Japan or someone in Thailand got a bad experience doesn't mean your future clients, your future patients have to resonate with that. They shouldn't, right? And sometimes it's not even ready. Competitors will answer instead. For the most part, if you ask me, there is a principle behind that. It's what I call the law of reciprocity. Okay? There's a psychological principle called the law of reciprocity. Simply put, when someone consistently provides value, consistently nurtures someone, people trust them. That's why education isn't just marketing. It's literally about building a big bonded relationship, right? It's relationship building. So again, when it comes to emails, YouTube videos, every FAQ, Instagram Reel, TikTok, each one removes uncertainty in one way, shape, or form, regardless of what you think about TikTok. I don't like TikTok myself. I don't. But is it helping? Is it sophisticating people? Absolutely. Because people are on it, especially millennials and Gen Z, right? Which is, it depends the Mets ball, but many people are really benefiting from the whole Gen Z way, right? People are getting a whole bunch of preventative injections of any sort, right? Why? Because they just want to. It's trendy, and they just care about themselves more. It is what it is, right? So where should your content come from, right? I think the first thing you should look at is objections, right? Every objection becomes content. It's as simple as that, right? So, for example, whenever a patient says, "Oh, it's too expensive," or "I'm nervous," or "Does it actually work for me?" or you know, can I look on Reddit and see people's opinions? Like, don't treat that as a problem. If anything, that's your next place for content. Every objection is simply another opportunity to educate. And if you ask me, a simple framework would be something like this, right? Start with what patients, for the most part, believe. Explain why that belief might be incomplete or even inaccurate. Teach the better perspective, your perspective. Then back it up with examples or even proof, testimonials of what you've done in the past, 5 years ago, 5 months ago, 5 days ago. Doesn't matter. That's a framework you can use for literally almost any topic out there. And again, a few examples would be like email. So imagine someone opts into your campaign. Instead of sending generic follow-up emails, you can literally send educational content. One email literally explains pricing. The other one can explain downtime. Another one answers the biggest misconceptions that are going around in the market at the moment, right? Because every month is always something trendy, some less GLP-1s or skin laxity gels, whatever it may be, right? Every email is preparing them for the consultation. And honestly, email is just like the beginning, right? This is like where you should start, but like this is not where you end, right? You can do short form video exams. So again, everyone's on TikTok, so or Instagram Reels, right? So short videos are incredibly powerful when it comes to actually nurturing patients who are already spending time on these platforms. And again, instead of constantly asking people to book, I mean, answer one question per video. That's all you really have to do. And then on top of that, what you can do as well, and this is more advanced, but you can do retargeting, right? Imagine every person who submitted a lead starts seeing educational videos from your clinic, from your practice, from your injectors, from you as the owner, right? If you're an owner or a practice manager, right? For the next 7 days after they opted in. So not sales ads, not anything along those lines, literally just educational content. Every video literally removes every single objection that they have in their mind before they arrive. Now, think about what that looks like over time for every single new patient you get that opts in from your ad of any sort, right? And again, when it comes to the actual timeline, right? Education shouldn't happen all at once. It's very hard to literally force someone to understand everything in 24 hours, in 72 hours. Day one answers pricing, day two explains results, day three, whatever. And then on top of that, you can handle expectations before the actual consultation. Patients start showing up much, much differently because they're confident, right? They're asking better questions, they're less focused on discounts. So even if your ad was a discount, again, because you have a good education process, you can still convert those people, right? People are actively still buying if they're educated. They understand the treatment better, the process better. Instead of convincing someone to buy, what you'll be doing is you'll be helping them make a decision they've already been preparing for. And that's literally where everything comes together. I can't stress this enough. I'm so passionate about this because again, many of you guys, I mean med spa owners, right? You're missing this, right? And you're missing out so much lemon juice. Like you're squeezing the juice. You're missing out on the extra revenue without even realizing it. So again, the result is better consultations, better patient experiences, better conversion rates, which is like the main, most important thing, right? Because especially when it comes to your high ticket, high margin treatment plans out there that you have. Again, confident patients, informed, ready to commit, better consultations, focused and efficient, higher conversions, improving booking rates, fewer cancellations, and fewer price objections because they've already been decently nurtured prior to the consultation. So again, I know it's been a lot, but for the most part, I just want to leave you with this, right? The key takeaways for the most part. I don't think the video's been too long, but a whole bunch of slides. Regardless, there's one thing I really want you to take away from this video if you're still watching, right? Is stop judging leads or stop judging potential prospects and patients by the moment they opt in. Start thinking about everything that happens between the opt-in and the consultation. That's where trust is truly built and where great marketing really, really happens, right? That relationship building. That's the real marketing that happens, that needs to happen if you want to stand out. Because everyone and their mother has a med spa right now. There's more med spas than McDonald's at this point in the US. That being said, again, thanks for watching. I want to leave you with this once again. If you found this very, very helpful, consider subscribing. My name is Marvin Pineda, by the way. I'm the owner and founder of Medology. We're a med spa marketing agency. I do plan on making more videos like this moving forward, just educating you guys. And when it comes to like the whole aesthetic and medical spa space, again, I'm a part of this and I genuinely want to see you guys win. Everyone here in the US and Canada, in the world, whoever you're watching, again, feel free to leave a comment. Any questions, reach out. If you like to learn more about how we approach things here at Medology, of course, you can find more information in the description below. Regardless, again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.